You've really set this debate up. That's Maulana Ghulam Vastanvi. And I now want to go across to Asauddin Owaisi, who's been listening very intently. He's clarified, and lots of people would say when he says that Muslims have grown under Narendra Modi and that there's been development, that's a fact, it cannot be contested. He says, don't stick to the sorrows of 2002, move on. Mr. Owaisi, are you prepared to move on? Do you think it's time that the Muslims of India move on beyond Godhra?
Let me start by saying that Muslims have the highest respect for our ulama. But having said that, I should also clarify that Muslims cannot forget and forgive 1992 and 2002. Thirdly, if you watch carefully, the Maulana has retracted what has appeared in Times of India yesterday. But he still uses the word uljhe mat rahiye. What does that mean? I mean, the Maulana should please enlighten all of us by saying that can there be justice, can there be prosperity and development without justice? Justice is the core of any democracy. Can any development takes place without, and does the Maulana actually know that in Gujarat, that there are same scholars from Deoband, muftis who are languishing in Sabarmati jail? There are Muslims who are languishing in relief camps. In Gujarat, you don't have a minority commission. In Gujarat, you don't have a Hajj committee. In Gujarat, Narendra Modi, which he feels that development took place, does not take scholarship from minorities ministry from central government. I mean, this is a highly objectionable and condemnable statement. I request the Maulana to take a leaf out of the book, or what Amrita Sen did and said when he was in Gujarat. How can one say, can the Maulana go to the house of Ehsan Jafri and tell his widow that, okay, it happened in 2002, let us move on and forgive and forget? This cannot happen. Can the Maulana come to Hyderabad and meet those 21 members of those families those boys who were in jail for 5-6 years, and there are still many boys from Hyderabad languishing in Sabarmati jail for no crime whatsoever? Does the Maulana knows that the CBI has moved Supreme Court so many times about the Sohrabuddin case? Cases are being moved from Gujarat. I mean, how can there be development in Gujarat when Muslims are living in a fear psychosis? I feel that the Maulana is suffering from Stockholm syndrome, and it is very unfortunate, Rahul, that he belongs to the most prestigious institute of Darul Uloom, wherein the history tells us that the scholars of Darul Uloom laid down their lives against all forms of injustice, and they never compromise against dictators or despots like Narendra Modi.
Very strong words there. You're saying he's suffering from Stockholm syndrome. You're calling the Maulana's comments objectionable and condemnable. Swapan Das Gupta, across the country there have been reactions where people have said it's easy for someone who's not suffered what happened in 2002 to say move on. It's easy to be generous with somebody else's purse. We heard Professor Bandukwala saying he's seen it with his own eyes. He's not prepared to move on, and nobody should be asking and exhorting people to move on till the time there's a sense of closure.
Well, Rahul, there are two very, very different issues involved here. The first is the development of Gujarat. I don't think anybody can contest the fact that today Gujarat is seeing the most spectacular economic development witnessed anywhere in the country. It's led the growth rates consistently for over 8 to 10% and over a decade. Its agricultural growth is very high. Investor confidence is very high. Employment opportunities are exceedingly generous at times in Gujarat. And these are opportunities available to every person in Gujarat. And there's no doubt that various members of the Muslim community have benefited educationally and business-wise. There is a very vibrant Muslim Bora community in Gujarat which has done exceedingly well out of the economic prosperity. That's one issue. So the economic development does not have any religious boundaries. Number two is an issue, which is that since 2002, there has been no significant or any riots of any sort in Gujarat. Third, let's come to the issue of 2002 riots. The 2002 riots was one of the most unfortunate tragedies which happened to India. Muslims died, Hindus died, a lot of people. There's been a lot of agonizing over it. The point about the issue of memory we come across, which is a very problematic area. It is very difficult for Professor Bandukwala, who was himself, who witnessed the whole thing, to actually get the traumatic events out of it. That's understandable. And I have nothing to say about that.